I didn't think that Scream 7 was going to get made.
Hello, Sidney. Did you miss me?
Melissa Barrera, who was a part of Scream 5 and Scream 6, she had these social media posts about Gaza, and then she ended up getting kicked off the project for Scream 7. And then after that, like, one of the directors who was attached to it left. Jenna Ortega, who was also part of the project, ended up leaving. Jenna Ortega says later she left in solidarity with Melissa Barrera. And you'd kind of think, okay, if your two big stars have left the project, that project is probably dead in the water. Not Scream 7. Scream 7 is back, and they brought back the original Neve Campbell, Sidney Prescott from the original movies. She's back in this one, and despite the reviews not being that great, somehow it had this gigantic opening weekend. Teri Hart is here. She's seen the movie. She actually liked the movie. She's got a lot to say about how we got here. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation.
Well, you sure know a lot about me for another asshole hiding behind a voice changer.
Oh, I'm not hiding, Sidney. Not this time.
Teri, buddy, good to see you, pal.
Hi, friend.
Nice to have you here. Okay, let's start with the fact that Neve Campbell is back. That's pretty wild, right? Like, this is the face of the franchise. She's returning to the franchise, reprising her role as Sidney Prescott, who's, back to face with the Ghostface Killer. What was it like seeing her going like, oh my God, I know that face. That face is returning for this movie.
She is a face that I grew up with. All
Yeah.
hail Sidney Prescott Evans. She's hyphenated now, Elamin.
Everything's
She's
changed.
married. She's hyphenated. She's been with this franchise since day one. She's the OG, 1996, which also was the year I started my career as an entertainment journalist.
You and the Ghostface Killer.
I prefer to say me and Sidney Prescott, not me.
That's
Jeez.
fair. That's fair.
Why make me the killer?
You're totally
Why
right. You're
make
totally
me the
right.
killer?
Yes.
Anyway, so she's always kind of played her as the girl next door, like the girl we could all be, but when she needs to be, she's totally kick-ass.
Yeah.
And she's doing it again. She's doing it again in Scream 7. She missed 6, but
Yeah.
she's back in 7.
Teri, what makes Sidney Prescott like an iconic final girl as far as final girls of horror movies go?
So I'm just gonna. I don't think everybody knows what Final Girl is, so I'm just gonna give like a little kind of descriptor. It's a horror movie trope that is like the last female character that is to fight the bad guys. So think Laurie Strode in Halloween, or even Ellen Ripley in Alien.
Yeah,
those are kind of classic Final Girls. But what sets Sidney Prescott apart is that through the franchise, we've seen her grow and change. She started out as a 17-year-old. Now she's in this final movie, she's there with her 17-year-old daughter, the same age she was in the first. So, she has evolved as a character in a way that I don't think we have seen other final girls in franchises evolve.
Yeah.
And the killer is really out for her. Like, the final girl, yes, it ends up being, but the killer's always out for Sidney Prescott, Ghostface is. So that's a very different part of the trope. And I think that they just kind of keep pushing the trope as far as they can.
Yeah.
And Neve Campbell delivers.
I mean, like, that's the one thing you can sort of expect from Neve Campbell in this particular role, is a role that she's inhabited for a really long time. Tell me how you felt about the movie. I've seen the reviews. Most of the reviews are kind of like a little, maybe demanding a little bit too much from Scream. Where do you fall on Scream 7?
Okay, so let's be clear. Critics hated this movie. Like, they really, it's like you're being generous.
I am.
Because I didn't hate the movie, so you're trying to make it be kind to me, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
But listen, I think we're going to talk about, how we even got here. And how we got here is bad. The story of this movie is bad. The politics, the decision these production companies made are bad. The movie itself, listen, Kevin Williamson, who was the original writer of the very first Scream, he's back as writer, co-writer, and director.
Yeah.
So it has that vibe of those first 3 Scream movies. And if that's what you associate with this franchise, you're going to have a good time.
Which is why you had a good time.
I had a good time. I want to say it with a whisper, but I had a good time.
Say it out loud. I'm glad that you're saying it.
Yeah. There's a scene with Sydney and Tatum, her daughter, where they're going through this narrow passageway and Ghostface is like stabbing them through the wall. And it's properly frightening.
I'm really grateful for the impression that I'm looking, by the way, looking at you doing that impression of Ghostface. Absolutely just incredible. Okay, can I just ask you about the circumstances behind this movie, because just with the time that we have left, because I do think you mentioned, there's been some controversy around it. I want to highlight some of that. So Scream 7 wasn't meant to be about Sidney Prescott originally. The franchise introduced some new generations in 5 and 6, led by Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. And then Melissa was dropped from the cast of Scream 7 because she made comments on social media about the Israel-Hamas war, which the studio characterized as anti-Semitic, including one post that said that Gaza was being treated as a, quote, concentration camp. How do you describe the fallout from that decision to drop Melissa Barrera? Where are we now?
I mean, it's what you said.
Yeah.
The entire movie changed.
Yeah.
This franchise was supposed to be rebooted with Scream 5 when they introduced the Melissa and Jenna characters that play sisters of Billy Loomis. People will remember, if you know kind of situation with this franchise.
Yeah.
And it's gone on a different track completely to go back to the Sidney Prescott story. They lost a director. They brought in Kevin Williamson. Basically, exactly where Scream is going as a franchise after 5 and 6 is no longer what they're doing. So the fallout is massive.
Jenna Ortega ends up leaving the project, right? Yeah.
Jenna left. So they fired Melissa Barrera for her position on pro-Palestine position. Jenna Ortega left on her own accord in support of Melissa. She's come out since and said that.
Yeah.
The director who was associated walked away because he said, the movie I was supposed to direct is no longer the movie anymore.
Yeah.
Then they paid Neve Campbell they backed up the money truck for Neve Campbell, and she said, okay. And
probably
Kevin
because
Williams,
there was a boycott. There was like some people sort of introduced a boycott, being like, well, let's boycott Scream 7 because they dropped Melissa Barrera, and so you
that boycott continued.
Right.
That boycott continued through opening weekend, and then to add fuel to the fire, Anna Camp, who's still in the movie, she put out a post saying that the boycott didn't work. She just sounded like a petulant child. It was really a wrong-headed, and then her apology for it was ridiculous. She said she reposted somebody else's story that didn't reflect her views. Then why did you post it, Anna? It makes no sense at all. Yeah. So the story behind the movie is ugly and gross, and it changed it so significantly, to the tune of $500 million as well. It was expensive. Yeah. Everything changed. But what we end up with in Scream 7, I think we can talk about it separately. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there, Elamin. But what I saw in Scream 7, I had a good time watching.
Yeah, the stuff that's on the screen, you can end up going you know what? This is all right for me. I got 30 seconds left here, Teri. But okay, so you got the boycott. You got this sort of entire sort of background chaos that is happening. And then you got reviewers coming out being like, this movie is bad. Despite all of that, an absolutely gigantic opening weekend. Were you surprised by that at all?
No, it's a review-proof franchise. I mean, I don't think
true.
I don't think people who are going to Scream 7 are like, what did the New Yorker say? I don't think that's what's happening with this franchise. They're like, it's Friday night. Yeah. I want to go and see something kind of crazy, kind of silly, kind of fun, and then I'm going to go and have a glass of wine or a soda pop. That's
Sorry, Richard Brody. You can't do.
Sorry.
I'm obsessed with the idea of any franchise being just absolutely review proof, but also I got to leave it there, Teri. You're the best. Thank you for your time, friend.
Thanks, Elamin.
Of course. So good to see you. Teri Hart is an entertainment reporter at Super Channel. The review-proof Scream 7 is in theaters right now. My name is Elamin Abdelmahmoud. This show is called Commotion. We'll be back tomorrow. We'd love to see you then.